Hello my friends, thanks for stopping by. I hope you're all having a great day. Today's video is going to be a demo video on some of the newest foundations, some foundations that are just really raved about on YouTube. And I thought that I would come on and actually put them on and give you my first impression. Of course, wearing them throughout the day would be totally different. And you will see in the video that some of these foundations are just not right for my skin type. I think that the words, anyone can wear this, or this would work for anyone, are really overused and abused because it is not true. And I thought, well, let me give these foundations a try and give you my first impression. Now, remember, you all may have very different skin from me, and perhaps one of these foundations is the perfect foundation for you. But I cannot say, I'm wearing today the YSL, and I have to say, it is the first YSL product that I have truly fallen in love with. I love this foundation. It works fabulously for my skin. I think that people that have the same kind of aging skin as me, the sun is shining very brightly right now, so it's going to change the camera. But anyway, I think that for the most part, people who have skin like me, who are aging like me, who are dry like me, who have sagging skin like me, may find that some of these foundations I talk about may be right for them, but I could probably go as far to say that they probably will dislike the same ones that I would dislike. Now, can I have a blanket statement saying that, oh, anybody over 50 is going to hate this? No, I cannot. So stick around and see what my first impression of these, I think I have 5 of them for you, foundations have been. All right? I hope you enjoy this. Stick around. I don't know what to say at that point. Stick around? Yeah, okay. If you like what, if you have an inquiring mind and you want to know, keep watching. All right, my friends, the first foundation we're going to try today is the Marc Jacobs Remarcable. I only got samples in this. I'm not sure of the exact color because the girl, she really wasn't listening to me. She said, oh, I think this one and this one. So one of them we almost agreed on. So we'll see. Anyway, I knew in advance that this would not be a foundation for me. It is a full coverage foundation. I am not comfortable at this stage in my life with full coverage foundation. I always feel a bit masky, but I also don't have a lot of things to cover, so I do understand there is a need for this type of foundation. So let me tell you a little bit about this foundation. It comes in 22 shades. It can be purchased in a couple of different places, Sephora being one of them. It does cost $55. I believe it's probably for the usual ounce that you get in foundations. It says that you will see instant results. It is an all-day weightless finish. It is beyond full coverage. And it says that your wait is over because 24-hour of full, flawless coverage is yours in an instant with this ultra lightweight foundation concentrate. So concentrate means that a little goes a long way. So I thought we would go ahead and try it. And of course, since I'm using a Marc Jacobs foundation, I will go ahead and use the Marc Jacobs foundation brush. I have 2 of them. I have the 2 and the face 1. I love the 2. We're going to try the face 1 today. I also brought my beauty blender because I think a lot of people use the beauty blender or they use the Real Technique sponge to apply their foundation. Some people just use their hands. I'm going to demonstrate with the brush and the sponge. On this side of my face, because this is a full coverage foundation and I feel that on my very dry skin, I need a little help. So on this side of my face, I'm using the Cover X Anti-Aging Primer. It has a lot of silicone slip to it, so it gives a very smooth surface, because I think my skin will probably help this foundation perform better with a primer on it. This side of my face does not have a primer. It only has my foundation, my moisturizer. All right, so we'll go with the beige light first in this foundation, and it may be a little bit too orange for my skin, but that's okay. You can see it's a very thick consistency. It comes with a dropper over just a pump, So I'm going to take a very small amount because it does say dot to dot. So I'm going to put a dot here, dot here. Let me pick up a little bit more. I don't know if it has separated a little bit. All right, so we'll do a dot there, and we'll start out with that. Now I'm going to take my Marc Jacobs brush, and I have a little mirror over here to help guide me a little bit, and I do cover the back up so you're not distracted by everything else. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just start working with this foundation, and just going to give it nice little strokes. I can tell you already, it definitely, a little goes a long way, definitely. Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and do the forehead. I'm going to need a little bit more on the forehead area and my nose, so I'm just going to do a little dot there and a little dot there, and then I'm just going to take the rest and put it on the brush. I'm going to go ahead and work it in. It does spread nicely. I do think that the silicone primer may be helping it out a little bit. So on the other side, we will see. Okay, I'm going to go right up underneath my eyes because this is something a lot of people do, and they don't bother using concealer. And then I'm going to go right over my eyes because this is what I do with my foundation. I have very blue eyes, and then, not blue eyes, I have a lot of dark blue veins in my eye. All right. I also go right over my lips, so I'm just going to give it a little buffing. And let me take a look and see. I have to say that this, it's not tacky on the skin at all on this side. It really has it does have a full coverage to it, and it really does look beautiful. We will continue on to the other side to see how it performs without the primer. So again, I'm going to take what's left of the foundation. I'm going to put a dot here, dot on the side of my nose, and a dot and a dot. Now I'm going to use the Beauty Blender to see how the Beauty Blender works with it. So I just took what was left over, which was not much, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pounce and give it a pouncing sweep with this because it is a full coverage. So I want to sweep it a little bit as I'm pouncing just to help it out a little bit. Okay. It doesn't really need it, I don't think, though. I think if I just do my pouncing, which I'll do on my forehead just to see. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to pounce that in. It actually goes on beautifully with the Beauty Blender. And I'm going to go right over my eyes with this. And okay, so that is the finish of it. I really do have to say, okay, now it gives great coverage, okay, great coverage. But I will say it's aging on my skin, okay? So it may look very, very nice here, but what I get, and I think the brush actually did a better job than the Beauty Blender, and I think that the brush thinned it just slightly. It really gave it a little bit, let me do a sweeping motion on the, yeah, no. Okay, I would definitely use the brush if I was going to use this. I think the Beauty Blender packs it on a little bit too much. Perhaps we could experiment and use a little bit less of it. But it does not have a tacky feel at all. I would not powder over this if I were wearing it because it would be too aging for me, too drying. It does have a matte finish to it, and I will say that where I have some dry patches, it has gathered onto, and I think during the day these would become a problem. But this is just a first impression, so that's the Marc Jacobs. All right, the next foundation we're going to try is by YSL, and let me put my glasses on. This is Touche Éclat. Le tint is the Radiance Awakening Foundation. I'm much closer to the camera. I'm used to being able to hold it here and then it goes out of frame. So I have to lean and get them all in because I want you to be able to really see the foundation going on. And just so that you all know, I have absolutely no lights on in my bathroom, no light on. I do have my circle light here just in case it got too dark, but I do not have any lights on me. This is natural sunlight that's coming through. So I'm not overexposed in any way to change the look of the foundation. This is pretty much what you see in person for me, okay? So no lights to distort anything. I think that's the best way to tell, I really do. All right, so this is the Radiance Awakening Foundation, and I got color B45. Not sure how this is going to work. And I really like this because it has an expiration on the bottom of the package. That's nice. But anyway, let's see. I got a little blurb about this one for you too. This one comes in 22 shades. You get 1 fluid ounce for $58. It is an illuminating foundation, dimensional radiance, weightless perfection. And it says the magic light of Touche Éclat is in a foundation infused in a weightless fluid. Touche Éclat foundation targets shadowy areas and highlights the contours of the face. It has free opaque fillers. Its perfecting texture evens the complexion and helps conceal imperfections while enhancing your skin's natural beauty. It is available, well, online, it says here it's available in 17 shades, but I'm almost positive I saw 22 shades. And although they did have some X'd out, so we'll say it comes in 17 shades. And again, $58. And it said the foundation should be applied with the Y brush. I did not buy the Y brush. So I am going to do half of my face with my foundation brush by Marc Jacobs and the other side with my beauty blender because we don't always have to listen to everything they say. Okay, so let's get started. It says the brush does buff and distribute the product evenly. So we'll do a little buffing action with it just to bring it out. This color may be way too dark for me right now. I'm not sure, but we're going to give it a go and see. All right, let me make sure I hit record. I did. All right, so I'm just going to take a little bit of this foundation. I'm going to put it on the back of my hand. It may be too dark in color, but that's all right. We will, for the video purposes, we'll say I have a dark suntan and I'm trying to match it up, okay? All right, so I'm going to take my, well, let me do just, oh, I didn't put any primer on this side of my face. Let me put a little primer because I want to be fair to all of the foundations. I want to put a primer on one half of my face and then not on the other. I'm just using the CoverX anti-aging primer, okay? It is not my Dr. Jart, but it has a great silicone slip to it. I know some don't like the silicone. For an aging skin, silicone sometimes can be our friend. And for me, it is my friend. Just like for my hair, silicone is my friend. All right, so I'm going to take the same brush I used for the Marc Jacobs. This is the Marc Jacobs The Face One brush. I'm going to take a little bit of this product and just dab it on my skin. Same thing on the forehead and also on the sides of the face, the chin, yeah. Thinking about what I'm doing here. Has a little scent. Tiny little scent, almost smells like cucumbers to me. You know how a fake cucumber smells? That's almost the scent I get. Okay, so I'm just going to go in and I'm just going to apply it first. And then we'll do some buffing action to bring out the illuminating effect. I really like illuminating foundations. This is not the perfect color for me, but like I said, we are just flying by the seat of our pants with it. I ordered it online. You know, online you can never tell. So let's go ahead and buff it because it says, you know, the Y brush buffing really brings out the beauty of the foundation. So we will go ahead and try it. And I must say it's, right now the way I have it applied, it is a light coverage, but I am going to say that the finish is beautiful. So I'm going to take some more on the brush and I'm just going to go ahead and build it up slightly. And I just pounce with the brush at first, just to distribute. Okay, so it has applied a little bit more. Now I'm just going to, and again, you don't want to buff so hard that you're rubbing off. So again, you lose control of the brush the further out you hold it. So just get it where it's comfortable, where you just have control of your brush. And go ahead and buff. And I like to buff in both directions. It smells like cucumbers, my friends. All right. Beautiful. Beautiful finish. Beautiful. I'm not kidding. It's beautiful finish. We just have to see how long. Now again, I'm not looking for a miracle. I have deep lines. I have wrinkles here. I have wrinkles here. I have wrinkles here, and I have deep folds here. I'm not looking for a miracle. I'm just looking for something that makes me feel good and doesn't accentuate all the bad, okay? All right, so this so far with the silicone side, love it. Let's put a little bit more on the other side. This color may be okay, for the summer months especially, okay? You know, all right, so let's do this side, which just has my moisturizer. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna dab it on and get it on the side of my nose. Then I'm going to take the brush. I love these Marc Jacobs foundation brushes. They are perfect. They really are. All right, so let's pounce that color throughout the face, get it all over. It's a very, the cucumber scent keeps coming back to me as I move the brush around. It's not a floral scent. It smells like cucumber to me. Somebody might think I'm crazy, but it does smell like cucumber to me, which is not annoying. It's not overbearing. Okay, so let's just give it a little buff now. We know that we can build this foundation up to a medium coverage or lightweight. And I have to say, let's just run down my nose. You know, I always go over my eyes and lips. I just think it helps. Let's seamlessly blend that line down the center of my face now. They apply the same. So with or without the silicone, it doesn't really matter. I have to say, this one here, I'm really surprised because to be honest with you, my friends, I don't like the Touche Éclat concealer. I feel it's a little too watery. It never really impressed me, but this foundation, so because of that, I've always stayed away from YSL products, makeup products. They're lipsticks. I have a couple. I don't necessarily love them. And, you know, they're a pricier item. So if I'm going to buy something expensive, it's going to knock my socks off. That's how I feel about it. I don't have any problems buying something that's expensive. You know, I've always been that way. I'll save for whatever I want. But it's got to knock my socks off, okay? And this foundation is beautiful. I'm happy that I gave it a try. I really am, okay? YSL. All right, my friends, the next one we have for you is by GIORGIO Armani, and it is the Maestro Glow Nourishing Fusion Makeup Bi-Phase Elixir, and it has a sunscreen of 30. I ordered the color 5.5. Just a moment. I am back. Whoops. I usually, in my Luminous Silk, I wear number 6, I believe. So we're going to see how this works for us. I have a little blurb about it. It's a revolutionary SPF 15 infused foundation that provides skin-perfecting lightweight coverage. And some days, all we want is lightweight coverage. So we're going to see. It says, get a no makeup feel while achieving a foundation coverage that locks into place. It's inspired by the thinnest fabric in the world, super organza. Maestro Fluid Makeup is a waterless suspension of volatile oils and pigments to allow ultimate comfort and weightless coverage. And it was also named Allure's Best Breakthrough Beauty Award winner, but we don't know if that's for truth. It's not a foundation, it's a complexion perfector. A whole new generation of makeup that feels incredible, looks invisible, and makes skin appear luminous every time, and anyone can wear it. Alrighty, let's see. Okay, so remember, it's not really a foundation. It's called an elixir, okay? And it's a fusion makeup. So it does come with one of those little droppers, and I must say I've yet to meet a dropper that I've loved, okay? The droppers, for some reason, they just don't do well on me. All right, so let's go ahead, just like we did with the last one. I'm going to put a little bit of a primer on this one, this side. It's the same primer, the CoverX. And like I said, sometimes us older dry ladies, we need a little help smoothing things out. Okay, this has great slip, so there's very little pull on the face, because I know somebody's going to say, I pull on my face too much. Well, when something has a lot of slip, you don't really need to worry about that. All right, so here we go. Let's see. I'm going to put my glasses on so I can actually see, because these, I don't know, the dropper ones, they get messy to me. Okay, so it comes in a little dropper. I'm going to put some on the back of my hand. It's very lightweight and thin. Going to go ahead and swipe that on my face. I'm going to put a couple more drops on the back of my hand. But you have to work with these because they'll drip right off your hands. And we're just going to go from there. I think I'm going to need it. I may be using too much, but we will see, because like I said, this is my first time, first impression. So let's go ahead with this. Now I'm going to go ahead and use my hands on this one just to see. Okay, it instantly turns a lighter color as you rub it in. All right, and it has a lot of slip to it. Okay, see, it really goes, it looks darker as you put it on, but as soon as you start to rub it in, it gets lighter. So this color is okay. It might look ghostly, I don't know. I have to really see and look. I'm going to go right over my eyes and see how that settles in. Now when I use my hands, I always pat the product because it takes out any, you know, stroke marks from your hand. And we're just going to pat that in and see how that looks. It feels kind of like the Natasha Denona on my skin, a little on the tacky side, but we're going to give it a minute to settle, because sometimes foundations need that. Let me just wipe my hand because it's a very greasy feel on the hand. I'm not sure that an oily person would like this, okay? All skin types, they say. So it doesn't settle on the skin. I don't like that, you know that. When I take my hands off, my hands are greasy. I just wipe them off with a Bioderma wipe, and so that took all the grease off. There's no greasiness to them. When I touch my skin, it becomes, there's a layer on it, okay? So this here, I don't know who would enjoy wearing this. But anyway, I'm going to do the other side to be fair. And I did shake it well. So let's do the other side, and I'm going to use the Beauty Blender with it so that we can get a true feel. And I'm just going to put it all on the Beauty Blender and go from there. And also, this is without a silicone primer. So maybe it'll wear better and it doesn't need a primer. We don't know. I will say the finish is beautiful and the glow you're getting is beautiful. And if you're somebody who really loves the lightweight foundation, it's beautiful. But, you know, I'm talking preference now. And as a preference, I do not care for a foundation that stays tacky. I don't like anything that dries down to a matte powdery finish. That's why you don't see me wear Estee Lauder's full coverage foundation. But I'm not saying it's a bad foundation. I can't. It just didn't work for me. But I know that many women wear it and they swear by it. And, you know, the velvet foundations, they're just not for me. So keep that in mind that, you know, I have a certain type of skin. I have a preference. And tacky is not a preference for me. I will say, from what I can see, let me put my glasses on. All right, so we did this with the Beauty Blender. You get more coverage with the Beauty Blender the way I did it. It has a beautiful finish, just beautiful finish. And like I said, the Beauty Blender does give you more coverage than my hands did. And I don't feel that this foundation needs a silicone primer. So if you wore a mattifying primer, it might work better with it. If anybody is using any of these products that I'm talking about today, please share your skin type, you know, your age range, because it does make a difference, and you know how it wore for you. I mean, the coverage, the finish cannot be denied. Beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. It really is. But I'm not sure I could stand it all day long on my skin. I can't feel it. The Natasha Denona I felt on my skin. This one I can't necessarily feel the tackiness on my fin. I can on my face. I can feel the foundation, but when I touch my lips together, it's almost like I have a gloss on. That's what my lips feel like. Because, you know, I go over my lips with my foundation, and I don't know. I'm a lover. My most favorite foundation, you all know, is the Armani Luminous Silk. And I also love his sheer glows that I mix in, the bronzer and then the glows. I love those. But this one, I'm not sure. You know, like I said, first impression, beautiful finish, beautiful. All right, my friends, the last foundation we're going to try today is the NARS All Day Luminous Foundation. It comes in 20 shades. It's $48 for 1 fluid ounce. You can purchase NARS at several different places. It is an all-day, natural-looking coverage with unexpectedly weightless 16-hour wear, highly pigmented and perfectly balanced. This breakthrough formula builds and blends effortlessly with just 1 drop. The results of exclusive innovation uniquely designed to deliver long-wearing, full coverage weightlessly. Shake, pump, and blend in sections for complete coverage that looks flawlessly natural. Okay, so I put a blob of it on my hand. I'm going to put it on my cheek, and I'm going to put it on my, it said 1 drop, didn't it? I better go easy. All right, that's all I'm going to put on until we see how it works. All right, so I'm going to take my Marc Jacobs brush, and I'm going to go ahead and pat that in. Now this one is supposed to be full coverage, luminous finish. Now that's appealing to me, although, like I said, I'm not a full coverage girl. No reason for me to be at this stage in my life. However, if you have imperfections or you know, discolorations that you're trying to cover up, full coverage is important. I understand this. All right, I'm going to go right over my eyes with it. I think this color is, it's showing up very light to me on my viewfinder, but again, I'm blind as a bat and I can't really see myself there anyway. All right. I will say that this does give beautiful coverage. A little will go a long way. I think I probably had too much on there, but it gives beautiful coverage, and it does have a very soft glow. So this one may work. Now remember, this side had the primer on it. So now I'm just going to take my beauty blender and take what's left on my hand and go ahead and start working it in on this side of my face. I'm going to do my pouncing action. And I'm going to go around, get it distributed all the way around. And don't forget, I'm just demonstrating today, but of course you would want to make sure that your neck blends in with all of your foundations. You know, if it's a little different, you might even want to tap it on the ear, but you want to go down and blend it all around. Take care of that line down the middle of my face. And I'm going to go right up underneath with my eyes with this because it is full coverage, but it's supposed to have a glow. So perhaps it will work and you won't need concealer, because I think as aging women, if we can get away with not wearing a ton of stuff, it's better for us. All right? Unless you like to highlight and all that. Okay. This has really full coverage, but it has a beautiful glow. Now I think that the brush sheared it out some, more so over the Beauty Blender. I think the Beauty Blender really, but if I turn it around and now I tap without the end that had any on it, try to remove some of it, we'll see how it looks. I'll go right up underneath my eye, over and above. It feels good on the skin. Doesn't feel, I don't even know I have the foundation on. No smell to it, anything like that. It gives really good coverage. Let me go over my lips just so you can see. Because I have a lot of blue in my lips. That's why I always go over my lips, because it helps my lip color stay true. Because, you know, if I can put on some colors that have no blue in them and my lips will turn them blue. All right, so we'll go right over the lip, fill it in, and there we go. I think that gives beautiful coverage. Now, it's a little bit too much coverage for me, I will say. I feel that this is how I feel about coverage, and I may be totally off base with the way many of you think, but full coverage to me ages us. Unless you need full coverage, I don't think that, you know, it's the way to go for me after a certain age. I think that If we can get a foundation that covers our imperfections and be on the medium side, I think it's less aging to us versus a very heavy foundation. Now that being said, many women just like a full face of makeup and they are walking around feeling great about it, and more power to them. I don't ever look at a woman and say, oh my goodness. Sometimes I'll look at a woman and say, oh my God, she needs help with color selections. She's a beautiful woman, but she could be so much better, but she's wearing all the wrong colors for her. And I think that has a lot to do with the people that are selling in the stores. I don't know. I was in a store the other day. I was looking for a lipstick brand that I either saw on somebody or I might have saw somebody on YouTube talking about it. And I never go by the video because as you all know, a lot of you say I look too yellow in the videos, too gold in the video, whatever. When I'm watching my videos, everything I see on my face, my eyes, my hair is true to color when I'm looking at my laptop. But you know, laptops pull different things and people's lighting pull different things. Anyway, make a long story short, I went in and was looking for this lipstick and she didn't have it in a tester, but she had 2 in stock. And I looked at it and I said, oh, without the tester, I really can't go that way. I said, because I may turn this very blue. And she said, oh, no, no, you won't. You won't turn this blue. You can't turn it blue because it's an orange lipstick. I looked at her, I said, and you can't guarantee that. You can't say that to me because the acid levels in my skin may be different than the next person. I mean, our pH balance, everything plays a factor in how things wear on us. Why do some of us oxidize foundations and others don't? So I really think that a lot of women walk around because they don't know what they need and they trust a salesperson that sometimes is just selling. There are some good salespeople out there though. I like the honest ones that say, oh no, that wouldn't look good on you. That's what I like when I'm shopping. Even with an outfit, if I'm unsure of it and I walk out, I usually don't do this though, I must admit, but I'll say, what do you think? And if they say, you know, oh, I think the other outfit looked better, I prefer that over, oh yeah, you look great, you know. I mean, I've seen that happen. So anyway, now that this makeup has settled for a minute, you can see that it does have a beautiful glow. It gives excellent coverage, more with a beauty blender than it does with the brush. The brush definitely shears it down to something that's more preferable to me. Just a small amount of time that we've been talking, it has gathered in all of the lines underneath my eyes, but I didn't set it. But again, this type of foundation, I would not set underneath my, I wouldn't use a lot of powder because it's already a thick foundation, and then when you add powder onto it, let's see how it feels. It's got a little tack to it, but it's got the normal amount of tack. No smell. It feels great on the skin. And like I said, the beauty blender and the brush give you different applications of this. All right, my friends, that is the completion of this video. In the comments, let us know what foundations you've been using, what type of skin you have, how many hours you like out of your foundation, what's the finish you prefer, and then give us some brands. You never know. The foundation you love could be what someone's searching for. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great day. Don't forget, subscribe. We're anti-aging here. Be happy, healthy, beautiful, and most of all, my friends, lovable. I love you all. All the products that I talked about today will be listed and linked below for you. Bisous.